Welcome into the Scene Project Sports Network. This is the SPSN Tailgate Show. I am your host, Bubba Starts. We are so excited to be here. Training camp is in full effect now. The pads went on this week. We got QB battles heating up. We got battles all over. We got a special guest coming in tonight from the Vocal Vike, RAP, going to be joining the show. But before we get to him, we got our guy, Pods. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. Just trying to stay cool during this hot summer.
Yeah, well, and Cali's a lot different. Today we finally dropped down in South Dakota. It's been a blessing to finally have the temps come down. I'm out here. This is as cold as it's been. It's 74 degrees in the studio today. It's as cool as it's been here in the last probably 2 months. And it's a big reason why we took a break for most of the summer. Obviously, there's not a lot of football to talk about in the month of July anyway, not till the end of it, right? But now training camp's heating up. My studio's cooling down. We're meeting in the middle. Really excited about it. Tonight, we were back on last week talking with Coach Cody, getting some kind of just getting the juices flowing again, right? Training camp hadn't quite kicked off, but now we've had several practices. The fans have been out there. The pads have gone on. It feels real right now. It feels real, and I love it. What up, y'all? Hey, I appreciate it. And you know what? Tonight, just because it's all of our beautiful friends, we're putting the comments up on the stage, baby. What's going on? Skull Mafia 2E, all the homies, RAP, just dropped in backstage. I'm going to give him a minute, do his thing, let him get ready. Yep. Yeah, you take as much time as you need, brother. Bob, appreciate you, man. I've been really enjoying tapping in. Chevy, Angelo, everybody. I know we've been hanging out in the chat, talking ball. Rap went on a really good rant tonight that I think we're going to have him rehash a little bit as well, just because I think it bears repeating. We're going to talk about the QB battle. We're going to talk about, our thoughts on, whether it's over or not. Both QBs, I think, have had their struggles. It hasn't been perfect by any means, but I think we kind of have a clear front runner at this point. I think that a lot of us knew would be in that position. I saw Tui out there preaching the gospel on Purple Daily today. Barber, what's good, man? You're right. Football is back, and we are so happy for it. Life is better with football, right? It's just, brings back the vibes. There's no more the speculation is kind of
It
over
brings
at
back
this
the
point.
feeling, as they say.
Yeah.
Brings back that feeling.
That love and feeling. Bring back that love and feeling. Rap was singing on his earlier tonight, so we had to get after it. Want to mention it right off the top. You all already know what time it is. I can't wait to be up there. Skullfest is coming, baby. Let's go. Let me get that up there. Look at that. Skullfest, September 12th. SPSN are going to be up there doing our live show from the Crooked Pint. It's going to be a great time. We hope to have some of you guys, especially the ones that are always tapping in with us here on the show. I hope Norse is there. We can put him on and get in there. 2E, I don't know if you're going to be a Skull Fest.
Mafia better be there.
I want to get Dell. Have you been watching? Dell is a new star in the podcast world. Shout out to Rap for having Dell on. I've really enjoyed it. I hope he's going to be there. We're just excited, man, to be a part of this community, and that's what you guys are, right? It's not fans. We're not, I know RAP is a star. I tell him that all the time. But it's about this community, right? We're just the ones that kind of have the balls.
So
there we go.
Question to the chat here. On a scale of 1 to 10, like being realistic, how excited are you guys to see this defense this season?
Man, and I think that's kind of been the talk of the last few days of camp, right? Is that it is that defense is just kind of tearing it apart, and we have a lot of things to be happening here. Bob's, we're trying to take care of that. Doing things a little bit different tonight. Getting, we got the live stream going on and got the live chat going that I don't usually do, but we 11-2E. Hey, my internet's not the best out here. We're doing our best to bring it to go. Where's Cody? That's always a great question.
Jeez.
He's coming.
Danielle with the bomb early.
They lost some keys out there. Guys, I don't know how to fix the buffering issue. I'm
you
really
might
hoping...
have to take the live chat off because that might be running bandwidth.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Well, it was fun having you guys on here. Let's pull the comments off the stage. We're going to see if that makes things better, guys. Working on the production value for y'all. Want to make sure that it's all good. I've been thinking about making the switch over to the platform that Rap is using. I've been really impressed with what he's got there, but you guys let us know if it's going a little bit better here now. So let us know in the chat if things are going better. I just turned the live chat off. We'll maybe bring it up at different points during the night, but trying to keep it.
I'll keep my eyes on the chat.
Appreciate it.
And I'll give some shout outs.
So yeah, the big notes from the last 2 days. Okay, cool. I think it was just the live chat and having that running on the background that was kind of slowing us down. So appreciate it, Tui. Thank you. Big talk of camp right now. Obviously, we got the QB battle going on, but it seems like since the pads went on, the defense is just really, really stepping up, making it hard for either one of these QBs to really get anything done, which I think is, for me, that's a positive, right? I want this defense to be back in that form of 2025, or 2024 rather. I think it's going to be even better than that. I think this team, the way it's built right now, that it is going to be the takeaways
for 2024. People eater, bro.
Yeah,
you could have some purple people eaters.
The takeaways were what was missing last year. I know that a lot of people are going to lean on the stats, and we're going to go to we were a top 5 scoring defense, but we weren't taking the ball away. And that's really what this Brian Flores defense is predicated on. And what made Sam Darnold so successful in that year that, he was here playing was that when you're playing on a short field and you're not having to go 80, 90 yards down the field every single time,
got a lot more
it becomes a lot easier of playing football, right? You're putting it up. So love it. Just give me a thumbs up when you're ready, Rap. We are...
Shout out real quick to Too Evil, Too Hope. He just said McCarthy and Murray are playing the Dark Souls version of football. You died.
We're going to get into those thoughts, and as soon as we bring Rap in, we're going to get... because he went on a hell of a rant earlier today on his show, and I really thought it was great. So with no further ado, let's bring the man in himself. R.A.P., the Vocal Vike.
Yo, what's good, man? Shout out to y'all. Appreciate you having me on, Bubba, for sure.
Hey, we appreciate you not only coming on the show, but bringing the entire crew with you, man.
Absolutely. Did they pull up?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Tui's here, Skull Mafia, Chevy, Delton, Barber's in there. We had some buffering issues that we taken care of. I got to get...
Chevy. Oh, they dissing me already. Okay, nah, man. It's a cricket internet.
No, and I want to, and not without kind of going back into, your entire rant, but this QB competition, I think that while it served a purpose early in the season, you have to motivate, right? Like that's a head coach's job, is to motivate your players. And I don't know, I wasn't comfortable with KOC just kind of handing the job to Kyler Murray when he signed here day one and just being there. I think Kyler needed to be motivated to come out and put his best foot forward. And I think you still need to have that motivation behind the young JJ McCarthy. But you kind of alluded to it that, like, I'm kind of done with it, right? Like, just go ahead and name Kyler QB1. You're not going to lose anything by JJ being the backup to that. He's still the best backup that you're going to have on the team, although Tui is going to have his thoughts on that. I think you still got something out there, and I think that he can develop in that practice squad and in that backup role. And given Kyler Murray's injury history, that he's going to play. Carson Wentz may play at some point this year, right? So
you better hope it don't get to that point.
I mean,
or you're going to be looking at the 2020 Broncos QB room.
Rap, I don't know if your mic is selected for your good mic.
It should be good now. Is it good? No, does it still
No,
sound
you're
like
echoing.
I am? All right, hold on.
Yep. You might have to pop out and just
Oh,
pop
you know
out
what?
and pop
Hold on.
back in.
All right. What about
There he is. There you are.
There it is.
Yep. You
All right.
got it.
All right. I don't
He
know
got
why.
it. We're all good.
Rat,
No, man.
wouldn't you say that this QB room's like 2020 Broncos territory if you find yourself getting into the Carson Wentz starting games conversation?
I don't listen. First of all, I think Kevin O'Connell actually likes Carson Wentz more than all the quarterbacks in the room right now. I said that, like, as far as just talking football with him and stuff like that. I just think he's a fan of Carson Wentz. But man, we don't want to see Carson Wentz, and I hope we don't. I'm trying to see where you're going. What do you mean with the 2022 Broncos quarterback room?
2020 Broncos
2020.
quarterback room.
Remind me. Would they have Jarrett Stidham?
No. So they had they did have Stidham, but their entire quarterback room, first, second, and third string, all got hurt to the point they had to pull a wide receiver off the practice room who played quarterback in college.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be good. We'll be calling Cam Akers back, I think.
You'd be dragging Dante Culpepper out of retirement. That's
There you go. For sure, man. No, so Bubba, and I did go on a rant earlier. Shout out to everybody who tapped in over there on Vocal Vike when and that was not expected. I didn't plan to go down that road, to be honest with you. It kind of just started happening because as you talk about it, it kind of frustrates me as a fan the way things are going, because the reality is we need to make sure we're up to speed when it comes to approaching week 1. And the longer you drag this on and we're hearing about these inconsistencies with not only JJ McCarthy, but Kyler Murray, I feel like, Kyler Murray's going to be the starter, bro. So there shouldn't be a reason for you to be taking valuable reps away from him. I think you might as well just need to go ahead and just pull the Band-Aid off, bro. Quit playing, because what's going to happen is you're going to drag it. And then when it backfires and Kyler goes out there and doesn't look ready, we're going to blame you, bro, for doing what you're doing now. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to blame you.
I'm going to blame him for playing too much COD.
Well,
Yeah.
I think you kind of said it today perfectly, that we got to see it. You got to play the game. You made it a competition. We got to see them both out there working. I think with this practice on Saturday in front of the fans, you saw what the best version of Kyler Murray can be out there, the layered throws, the experience, right? And I kind of alluded to this in the comments, was like, JJ McCarthy loses nothing by being behind a 6-year veteran who was a former #1 overall pick, right? Like, that doesn't devalue JJ McCarthy as a football player, as a quarterback whatsoever. But at some point, and this is training camp now, the season is literally right around the corner. We got real, preseason football next Saturday, not this Saturday, like Del was saying. I had to go and look at the schedule after you guys were talking. But you have to get this team, the whole team, in the best position to go win football games. And that means Kyler's got to get the first team reps right now. JJ can sit back there and simmer, continue learning, continue working on his craft. He's still under team control for a possible another 2 years, right? You give him that 5th-year option and you still have the young man around. There's nothing, you lose nothing by him not playing and being in that backup role, because the odds are that he's probably going to play at some point and probably start a few games this year. History would tell us that that is more than likely going to happen. And it also allows you to throw JJ out there for every single preseason game and just let him run.
Yeah. I mean, what's up, man?
What's going on, fellas?
Chilling out, talking about this quarterback.
Yeah.
This
I
quarterback
got the retro Cunningham. You feel me?
The Cunningham. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, speaking of like older quarterbacks, not really older quarterbacks, but I feel like why didn't we act like this with the boy from Christian Ponder? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just curious. Why we didn't act like this with Christian Ponder?
Those
why
were
we
some
didn't give
dark
Christian
days.
Ponder a chance? Why we didn't keep holding on to that? I'm serious. What's the difference?
I mean, in my opinion, that season where Christian Ponder had an all right year, led us to the playoffs, and then couldn't play, and then we had Joe Webb walking on out there. It seemed like he was struggling to get over 125 yards passing.
Could you imagine if JJ McCarthy gave us a season that Christian Ponder gave us that got us to the playoffs? Oh my gosh. I mean, look, the way certain fans are acting now off 10 games. I mean, bro, if he was to get us to the playoffs, it'd be over with, bro. Like you better not say a bad word about him.
They were this close, and granted, it was by committee with the quarterbacks last season because you had Max Brosmer won a game last year, right?
Yeah.
And you came one win away from playing postseason football, right? And I think that gets lost. And really, it's just people get caught up in the lows of McCarthy, and I know that 2E in some ways is definitely trolling. We know that JJ McCarthy isn't the worst quarterback in all of the NFL, right? And when they did the rankings today, they did the tiers. You know, he came in that fourth tier, I think 35 best quarterback, at least on that ranking. And I think it'd be really easy for him to go out, develop this year, and maybe if he has to start at the end of the year, to look like a guy that's more in that 20 range. I mean, Kyler Murray was ranked in that 23, and this is by GMs and people in the league, right? So the league ain't real high on Kyler Murray either, right? So you have your two quarterbacks are nestled in there between 23 and 35. And that's not a bad quarterback room to have, especially when you kind of forecast that both of them could play above where that status is right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I mean, that's still not great either way. Like,
10
like
teams,
this is my thing.
have a top 10
I'm with
quarterback.
him, Bubba.
Just
Like,
be a little hyperbolic.
yeah.
Please let me be hyperbolic here, but I think what was Kyler ranked 23rd?
Yeah, he was 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still too high.
You think that's too high
Kyler
for
should be
Kyler?
closer to like. I do. I really do. I think Kyler is
Damn.
actually probably closer to like 26, 27.
Damn.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you about that. I guess it's not.
We're talking
really
about
that
three
big of a
spots,
deal.
man.
Yeah,
And then you got
three.
your backup's 35.
Listen, JJ
Like-
McCarthy shouldn't even be on the list technically. Let's just.
Thank you.
Technically, yeah.
But that's what I've alluded to with people that wanted to, like, oh, you got to trade him. He's the worst ever. You got to trade him. It's like, look, as far as a backup quarterback goes, you can do a lot worse. There are a lot of teams that are in a lot worse spot should their number one guy go down, right?
Okay.
So to trade him before the season
He's
starts
not the third best guy.
is crazy. As
Yeah,
far
but
as
he's
Matt-
not the
no,
third
there was
best
probably
guy. He's
backups
not
that
the
were
third best
on
backup.
that list of 30 something that were higher than he is, right? But we've always said top 40. That was kind of the argument that we've made on the show before is JJ McCarthy a top 40 quarterback in the league? And I don't know that there's many people, or I don't think there's many people that would say that JJ McCarthy isn't a top 40 quarterback in the league, which puts him in the upper half of your backup QBs. That's why I was against trading him to get nothing back, to get a fifth rounder back. Like that didn't make sense.
Okay.
At this
You
point,
want
I
me to
agree.
name who's better?
What's that?
Backups that are better than JJ McCarthy. All right.
San
for
Francisco. I'll
starters,
just name teams that I think have a better
San
quarterback
Francisco
room. I
have
think
a
that's
better
easy.
backup
San
quarterback
Francisco has a better room. Where would be another
because you got Mac
one?
Jones.
Well, yeah, that one's obvious to me. I don't know. You wrap what?
Gardner
Maybe the Colts. I don't know. Would you say
Yep.
whatever, however the Colts situation plays out?
Well,
maybe
Anthony Richardson and JJ are essentially the same quarterback. In my opinion, as far as like what they've done so far. You know, you could say like, oh, well, JJ has a ton of upside and he's going to do this and he's going to do that. The same thing with Anthony Richardson. But it's like, okay, well, we're going on year 3. Where's it at? Like that's pretty much all. That's where I'm at with it at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just kind of sick of it, to be real. I'm gonna be real. And and Bubba, you know this, man. Like, I'm a huge, I still say I am. I'm not even gonna say I was, because I still root for him. I don't want to see him fail. It's not like I'm wishing bad on him. But what it is in 2026, I told myself, I'm not attaching to players anymore, man. I'm attaching to the Vikings. And I want the Vikings to do what is right. and do what's best for the team. It's hard to convince me that starting Kyler Murray isn't better for the Vikings than starting J.J. McCarthy. That's just, I mean, it's just hard for me to really fathom that, because at this point in time, when you have a wide receiver you paid money, Justin Jefferson, arguably the best in the league. You have Brian Flores, arguably the best defensive coordinator in the league. You got 2 bookend tackles, barring they stay healthy. You have great linebacker play. And man, look, man, this is not a time to be BSing around out here trying to figure out what ifs. I feel like you need to put in what you know is matter of fact. And when you look at Kevin O'Connell's trends, he is successful every single time. We have actual data of this. He is successful when he gets a veteran like Kirk Cousins, when he gets a veteran like Sam Darnold. And now Kyler Murray fits that shoe. Okay, when it comes to him putting in young quarterbacks, it looks like a mess.
It's a different size shoe.
Jaron Hall. It's a fucking disaster, man.
Yeah.
Like, for real, bro.
Yeah, he definitely needs to have players that understand what he's seeing and have that experience. But I also don't begrudge him for playing this whole competition out, right? Because I think that you would have left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. J.J. McCarthy, probably number one, who felt like he at least deserved a shot. He got that shot now. He's still showing the same inconsistencies that a young player who doesn't have the 6 years of experience and the same arm talent. The kid's got a rocket, but the arm talent isn't the same as what Kyler Murray brings to the table, right? Yeah. You saw it, right? The top level of what Kyler can do is higher than what JJ can bring you now. What I wanted to see before I just kind of claimed, what I didn't like was how so many fans just like claimed he was the savior before he ever stepped on a field in purple and gold, right?
Talking about JJ McCarthy or Kyler?
No, talking about Kyler. Like, as soon as we sign him, he's the savior of the franchise, guy that's had a really down last 4 years of his career. I'm a what have you done for me lately kind of guy. Like, you got to prove it. And I felt like with this quote-unquote competition coming in here, that you allowed Kyler now to go out and prove it to the rest of the fan base. Even as a JJ apologist, and I don't think JJ loses anything by not being named the starter. I don't think it devalues him as a player. I don't think that it's a shot at him to say he's never going to achieve that starting caliber player. He's just not there yet. And now you have a guy in front of him that you can point to and go, you can't do those things yet. You're not doing those at a high enough level at a more consistent level to be the guy, right? So I'm with you though, that like, I've seen enough now, right? Kyler obviously looks healthy. Kyler is whipping the ball around there. He seems to be getting a grasp on this offense. Now, I know Dell was a little disappointed with your boy Will's assessment from practice the other day. And it wasn't perfect, but it's not going to be perfect. And that's exactly why what you said today, Kyler needs to get all the number one reps from here on out. Let JJ simmer, let him keep growing and working on the things he needs to work on. Just come out with it. I have no problem with it. Even as a huge JJ McCarthy fan, I don't feel like I'm doing wrong by JJ and saying, hey, brother, we got to do what's right for the team, man. Like, that's you're going to learn. You're going to be there. You're going to be on the team. You have to be ready for when we need you, right? You have to be ready. And to now go in to this last few weeks of training camp, the season's like, it's here, right?
It's here, bro.
Man. Yeah, you have to get it. You have to get KM1 up to speed with the number ones. Let him go out there and do it. And Rap, we've kind of spoke about it, and I like that you're kind of repeating this line because it's something that I said months ago. Look, the best thing that could happen for this team is that Kyler goes and balls out until the trade deadline. You see things from JJ, and maybe he started a game at this point, and you've seen him go out and throw for 280 to 350 and to look like the guy, and you feel you can have that confidence in him. You go flip a guy that you're paying nothing for, maybe a first-round pick in a deep draft next year. That's winning. That is winning on a different level. And I know a lot of people will be like, well, you may be giving up on a Super Bowl. I don't know that Kyler Murray has that game. I don't know if he's enough to get that over that way. We're going to see when live bullets start flying, because one thing I think has been one thing that has been really evident with the comments I'm hearing from camp is that to put Kyler Murray under center is going to be a detriment to the player and to the team because he's going to get lost in that. Like his size is a factor, regardless of how you feel about the player. That size is a factor in there.
Yeah. No, I agree with I agree with those takes. Here's another thing that's hard for me to just get past, right? When people talk about Kyler Murray. This man won Mr. Texas in high school football 2 years in a row. State champion, Texas football. Anybody who knows high school football, those high schools will beat some D2 college teams, beat them to death. You know what I mean? Like, that's how good the competition is down there in Texas. And he did that. As a quarterback, that's not luck. All right? That's not saying it's hard for me to fathom that, well, Kyler Murray just isn't good. He just isn't good at all. He went from that to then going to college and winning the Heisman. That's not luck either. You know what I'm saying? And then he went first overall and won Rookie of the Year, threw over 3,000 yards his rookie season for a trash organization, right? That
I was also Offensive Rookie of the Year as well.
Thank you. I like golf, man. I like golf. Where'd you find this guy, Bubba? You know what I'm saying? You talking about language. Like, so that's the thing. And this isn't glazing Kyler Murray.
He's an accomplished athlete.
He's an accomplished athlete. Thank you. You know, like it's one thing to say, okay, and you do have players where, hey, they fall off the cliff. Hey, they had it at one point in their career, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just isn't there anymore. But what we've already seen, right? Let's just say Kyler Murray, his peak was his second year where he threw 3,800 yards and 30 plus touchdowns. That's his peak. He can only get there again. If he
throws 2,800, that's a good season.
If we get that Kyler Murray in 2026, we're Super Bowl contenders at that point. You know, like we really are. I don't know, man. Listen, I don't even know if JJ McCarthy can throw 300 yards in a game, bruh. Like I'm just being real. I just don't.
Let me add to this a little bit. So you've got JJ, who I really do think the best case scenario, he does start to show signs of being that guy. Do I think it's likely? Not really.
Thank you.
I don't. But the thing with Kyler, though, too, that I'm worried about is that how bought in is he compared to how bought in Sam Darnold was? How bought in Kirk Cousins was?
Yeah.
Because the thing that we've known about Kyler is that he has a lack of focus, if you will. But the thing I'm going to give him is that he was in pretty much a poverty franchise for 6 years, went through a lot of coaches, went through a lot of turnover on that roster and staff. Maybe KOC gets him on board. Maybe KOC turns him around and we get 2023 Kyler Murray. We get 2022 Kyler Murray. Now, that's someone that Bubba alluded to. You can flip for picks. Or you have the opportunity to go all in, too, on him if you think he's that guy. My question is, how long do you give it?
I mean, I say you give it this season. Okay? And that's another thing. That's what's also like putting me in this mind state of quit playing at practice right now. Like, quit all the BS. Like, because if anything, we need to see if we actually have them, because there is a world where Kyler Murray could be the franchise quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. I know there's people out there that don't want to hear that, but that's the reality. The reality is, if he plays similar to a Sam Darnold played in 2024, at that point, you absolutely must pay him. You must pay him, because if you don't, it tells me that you haven't learned your lesson. Because where we'll be is you'll let Kyler walk. And let's just say Kyler plays the entire season. JJ's sitting behind him. We don't know if JJ developed or not. What are we going to take KOC's word for it? That he was at practice taking a couple throws of practice, and then all of a sudden now he's ready going on year 4? I'm not buying that, man. I'm not buying that, because again, we're going to be on the outside looking in, while Kyler goes to another team and he's freaking hitting his stride now in his prime, because he's not old. He's 28. He's 28 years old. He's still got time. This man can still play quarterback for another 9 years. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
to be able to let Kyler, you would have to see JJ on the field. What I think is that I don't know what the financial of this team, and I know we can kind of, F a cap, right? People can make it work. Is Kyler Murray going to take? Now he took, I would say he took a pay cut. He could have gone and got paid from somebody
Am I still
else.
echoing me, or am
Double
I good?
digits.
No, you're.
I think
Like
it's better now.
A little better.
It
now,
must have just been that new microphone, but we'll get it all figured out, man. It's preseason for us too.
Preseason, man. It's practice,
Chris
not a
Berman.
game. Not a game. It's practice.
You would have to see JJ on the field starting in games to get the buy-in from the fan base that you would need to make that. What the biggest fear, and maybe it is, because Kyler's made plenty of money, right? Like the man's gotten paid. He's made money in this league. How important is it to him now in this part of his career to say, I care about my legacy, right? I need to add Super Bowl champion and maybe multiple time Super Bowl champion to my resume to feel that. Does Hall of Fame matter to him, right? Do these things matter to the player, to the man? And if they do, are you going to take a substantial pay cut from what you could? Would he take $38 million a year, right? Which helps your team probably add 2 solid players, or are you going to be like, no, I need $60 million? Because I don't think the Vikings are going to pony up $60 million to pay a quarterback for multiple years. It's not happening. And I think the teams that are paying their quarterbacks to that level are going to start to fade, right? Like there's a limit to these things. And and everybody outplays it. What I was waiting to see, and the reason that I wasn't on the early train of like, Kyler's the man, it is what it is he the same guy physically that he was in 2022? More experience now, but the body ages, right? And now he's in that 28, right? 27, 28 years old. You're starting to lose a little bit of that step, right? Which is going to take away from the elusiveness in the backfield because these other guys are getting younger and faster the entire time too. Is he going to be able to get away with the shit that he was doing when he was 23, 24 years old? And that's what worries me, because his game is built around those things. Can KOC coach him up to make the safe plays? Can KOC train him in this offense that is predicated on timing and not the backyard, schoolyard football, and get him to play inside of a system? And that's why I was very, a little hesitant, a little bit more patient, right? I didn't have to make a decision in February when the signing happened to say this is the man. But at this point, and I know it's only been a handful of practices, I think the Saturday practice is damning because Kyler looked to the top of his game, and he just needs to get consistent in that. JJ hasn't looked that good in anything that he's ever done, right? He's never looked that good in his entirety of the 3 years that he's been here. So I think it proves exactly what you're saying. JJ still has a ways to go, but now at least he has someone in the room to look up to go, okay, I need to get to that. Those are the things that I need to do and work on and grow into to be a starter in this league. Because right now he's on the outside looking in, and that's across the board in the rest. There's no team that's picking him up to be a starter. So if you're JJ, why leave? Right? You might as well stay where you're at. You have a fan base that I think it kind of speaks to how much the fan base still believes in, or at least half of it does, that you still have some of that love and some of that, that belief in you. It's not going to hurt him at all to sit in the background and to just let this thing simmer and play out how it's going to play out. The big decision is going to be, if Kyler balls out, is he going to take the contract that the Vikings are going to be willing to give him, or is he going to walk away for a big payday from a probably bad football team and to go and to kind of be Mr. Irrelevant again on a, you know what I mean? Like, you're just going to go be another, top 10 caliber, a top 20 caliber quarterback who plays for a shitty team and never gets to that level of play. And that's why my questions are with the man. How much do you want to win? How much do you want a Super Bowl, Hall of Fame? Do those words matter to you, or do you just want to get paid in this game? Because I think that's where a Tom Brady, that's why he's got all the accolade and the rings and the champions, the trophies on the wall, is because he was that guy to say, I'm going to take less and be a team guy so that we can build a championship roster.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that too. I also think about it like
Nailed that to a T.
there I also think about this too, is there also is a high probability that JJ McCarthy just isn't good. Like there's a high chance that JJ McCarthy just isn't good. So at that point, you don't even want to hold on to him. It just doesn't. It's just like why. You know
Well,
what I'm
we've
saying?
already
Like,
established that he's top 40. So what's wrong with keeping the guy and him just be your perennial backup? You never pay him any
well,
money. You have somebody in there that just has it, that the fan base loves, that the locker room loves. It equates me. There was a guy that played for the Bears and kind of a journeyman, and his name evades me right now. But essentially a coach, a guy that can step in and win a few games, that still
Mitch
has
Trubisky?
value on a team. No,
Mitchell
it wasn't Trubisky. It was another guy. I think he ended up. He's got a podcast now.
I'll tell you why Bubba, why I believe that wouldn't work is because I think there's a relationship there that at that point is fractured to no return. So like, I
Between
think
the
it'll
head
be
coach
more
and the player, you're saying?
right. Like I just think it's not so much of, oh, he has the ability to be a really good backup. Yeah, that's true. But I don't know if it's going to be able to work from a relationship standpoint of him staying in Minnesota. Because if I'm thinking about it from JJ's point of view, listen, you had faith in me. I only played 10 games. You bring in another guy to take my job. And really, like, once Kevin O'Connell, I'm gonna say that this is a hot take, but I'm gonna tell you right now, the day that Kevin O'Connell comes out and names Kyler Murray the starting quarterback, all right, the day that comes, I guarantee you there will be a report coming out that JJ McCarthy is frustrated. JJ McCarthy feels betrayed. And I wouldn't be surprised if the trade talk starts to ramp up even before the season, because that's the mentality he has. And he probably feels like he was failed as a young player. And his agent will probably be in his ear. I'm sure his father will be in his ear. I'm sure his girlfriend will be in his ear. Like, there's going to be a lot of outside influences that are going to say, baby, they did you wrong. Like, they did you wrong. They didn't give you a fair shake. And everybody knows that. All right.
Well,
and at that point, he might say, you know what? I want out.
And to that point, I think there's plenty of teams that he could go start in. Even if you're not going to rank him as a top 32 quarterback, I think there's teams that he could go and win a starting job in today, right? Like, he could go out there, but there's just no team that's going to, where's the value at? I think it's easier to just pay a guy on a rookie contract to be your backup, let his contract go. Maybe you don't pick up the 5th-year option. You let him ride this contract go. I feel like you're almost better off just kind of letting him walk. Maybe he builds value and somebody really needs a quarterback through next year. If a Kyler Murray does stay, that your value is built up. He actually makes himself more valuable by not playing, and we can kind of feed the media things and to say, oh yeah, JJ's looking way better, and maybe fleece somebody for a 3rd-round pick rather than letting him go for nothing right now. And that was kind of a big thing that I talked about a lot leading up to the season here, is that, like, there is no reason to go out and to trade this man. And whether he requests the trade or not, like, who cares? The team has control, right? Like, that's
but that's unhealthy though, in my opinion, though, Bob, because like, this is the thing. If it comes down to where we got to count on you, you're not really there. Like, you're not there. You're not there emotionally. Like, for example, we need you to come in. We got 2 weeks left in the season. These are must-win football games for us to make the playoffs because the starter went down.
I think JJ McCarthy would want to go to the Cardinals.
You're not really in it to win it, like, because you're already feel disrespected. It's just,
but that's exactly why the coach has to come out and say that it's a competition. Let the competition play out, which I think it has now. And to say, hey, we had a competition. It was open. Both guys had an opportunity to take it. At this point, we need to make a decision. This is the decision we're making. That way you don't have to have it be like a KOC doesn't like JJ McCarthy kind of conversation. You say, hey, we gave the kid a chance. You all saw the performance that was out there. We saw it. The players saw it. And Kyler's our guy moving forward for the 2026 season. And because Kyler's not under contract for the future, you kind of go right back to square one at the end of the season anyway, right? You're right back to flush and possibly talking about another QB battle moving into the 2027 season anyway. So I don't think that there's anything lost. I would hate to see a JJ McCarthy get disgruntled in this year when I think he would really benefit from just hanging back and being patient and learning.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'm with you, man. Like I'm a big JJ fan. I love, I
Now,
love
Dell,
JJ McCarthy,
not to
but
cut you off, Rep, but I want to get on Dell a little bit here. Dell, first of all, I've loved you on with RAP the last few days, man. I didn't see anything come out about camp today. Obviously, we're all kind of behind. I'm getting most of my information from the Purple Daily crew as they're coming out and doing their recaps in the morning. So I will start there. But you said it yourself in yesterday's practice or in yesterday's show talking about the practice before, that neither one of these quarterbacks are good right now. Right? But I think you have already seen that the best of Kyler Murray is better than the best of at least the JJ McCarthy that we have seen so far. And I think for that reason alone, now that I've seen it with my own eyes and I have, seen this kind of play out in camp and hearing things that we have it. That it's so cool. So Kyler sucks the least of them right now.
Yep.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Then that has to be the decision of the head coach.
And this is the thing. Yeah, and I'm with you on that. And like even if
Dell,
you've
been there, correct? Dell, you've been at the you're living in the area.
Yeah, he was there yesterday too. So yeah, he was there yesterday too.
Yo.
Yeah, go ahead.
Rap, let me give a hot take real quick.
Yeah.
So they both suck right now. I feel like the only way that JJ gets any value on the field, like trade value, is if he starts playing like Mac Jones did for San Francisco when Purdy was out. Like that's the only way, JJ is gonna build any kind of credit to get and be like, oh, okay, I can go start for a team. But I think the reality is, oh Jesus, you better hope not. I think the reality is, and I don't know how much longer he has on the deal, I think you actually hope for someone like a Mac Jones to become available and you actually go and offer him a contract.
Yeah.
Because what you got right now is not good.
Yeah. And so the consensus.
Rap, can you send Dell a link? Dell, I would love, if you're available to jump on with us, man, I'd love, because you've been there, you have the eyes on this. I would love to get an update on what you saw.
Did you text it to me? Did you text me the link?
It's in your email.
Yeah, you emailed it. Hold on. Yep. The consensus today too is that they both looked bad. There was somebody who said, Will Raggett said, I mean, if you're gonna give it to somebody, I guess you would give it to JJ because he may have completed one or two more passes on 7-on-7s. But the reality is, I think here's the thing too with JJ. We're talking about a guy that's his third year in the offense compared to a guy that's 6 days in.
He should be head and shoulders above.
He should be head and shoulders,
not barely.
That's where the problem is. That's where the concern comes in. It's because you're comparing a guy that has been in the offense and should know and should be out there kind of just going through the motions, but he's not. He's still struggling.
QB1.
Rap, can I just say this, brother? I truly, I don't say this to like disparage the young man.
Yeah.
But you are struggling like this in year 3 of the same offense with the same coach. Granted, your first year you got injured, but you did go through the whole camp before the injury happened.
Yeah.
And you're struggling the same then, and you're struggling with the same issues now that you were then. Like, come on. Maybe, like you said earlier, man, maybe JJ just sucks.
So I'm saying, man, there's a possibility. I mean, I know fans, we're trying to hold on to it because it's been a while since we've actually drafted a quarterback and he pans out and, can't remember the last time that's happened, right? So I get it, right? You want to, as a fan, you want it to work really bad. I want it to work really bad too. But like hearing some of these things coming out of practice, it's just like, man, there's a world where JJ just may not be a starting a franchise quarterback. Might not be good, man. You know what I mean? He's okay and he'll show flashes and he'll do this, that, and the third. And he has the mentality, he's the winner. He has the, you want to run through a wall for him on the field, but the actual ability to be able to throw on time, don't hold on to the football. There's these things that we're hearing about where it's just like, This shouldn't be happening, man. in
This
year
should
3.
be ironed out by now.
Yeah,
year
this should be
3 on this
ironed. This should be
offense.
ironed out, man.
Like,
Especially
you're still
at
having
practice.
timing issues. How?
Yeah, at practice. Come on, man. You know, like I
Seriously.
don't know, man.
Yeah, and I
Just-
think that's
like-
why you just need to come out and name Kyler the starter. Let him keep going out there because you're not seeing what you needed to see out of JJ to name him that starter. And I don't think that there's any. I
Yeah.
don't think that it was a charade or a farce to call it a competition. But it's very easy to kind of just say, "Hey,
but Bubba,
this is
I
the
mean, I
direction
don't
we're
mean to cut you off, Bubba, but because you keep making that a point, I see a problem in that though, and here's why. Because again, like, I'm pretty confident in this. The moment we signed Kyler, there was never a competition. Like I stand on
Right.
that. I really feel like
You
that.
paid the man.
You signed him to be the quarterback for your team before he even threw a football in a Vikings jersey, a practice jersey at that. So to me, where I have the problem with that is, yes, Kevin O'Connell can come out and say, "Oh, it's a competition," but why? Because he said so? Like, I mean, that's why we should buy into that. Like, to me, I feel like he should just be honest with us and be honest with JJ.
Well,
Be
and I think
honest
what
with them.
you alluded to was that the decision in KOC's mind was made immediately.
It was made immediately.
He had a history with Kyler already. He knew this guy was gonna beat
Yes.
him. But
Yes.
you do it, and I guess I don't have it. Like, if you're gonna get coach speak, and we're all kind of into that, then fine. The competition is coach speak as well, and you're
Yeah.
just trying to get the most out of it. I think it would have left a little bit of a bad taste in some of the other players' mouths
True.
that are competing for their positions to let
Yeah.
Kyler walk in after he has underperformed the last
That's a
several
great
seasons.
take.
Just go, that's the
agree.
guy. Right. So maybe it's not
Yeah.
just JJ that he's kind of saving face for. Maybe it's across the board with a team full of veterans as well to say, hey, man, everybody has to earn it. Right.
Yeah.
Everybody has to earn their spot on this team. I don't have a problem with that either. But it's kind of played itself out. Right. Like just like pull the mask off, rip the Band-Aid off. Right. Like it's done. Let's just roll. Give everyone the answers that we're looking for, because we got other battles on this team, and maybe we can talk about this. I know your boy Ivan Pace, a lot of talk around him kind of being a guy that's potential cap cut in there, but he's
been looking good though. He's been
I don't think he was
good.
ever in that. I don't ever think that he was in that position. I think people are looking. I think fans and even analysts are looking at this roster differently than how Brian Flores especially looks at his defensive roster, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't care what the position says in a depth chart. Doesn't give a shit about that.
more about the
Who can
ability,
go out
what
there
you
and
can do.
play. Yeah, who's the best, if they each side of the ball gets, 27 guys, right? Essentially 26 guys. I guess you got the kicker and holder in there. So you only get 24. You only got 24 guys to go on your side of the ball. Then who are the best 24 guys? And to me, you can stash the young guys on the practice squad without them getting poached. I don't think Ivan Pace has those protections, and that's why I think Ivan Pace and Jamal Adams make the 53-man roster.
Mm-hmm.
You stash a couple of the young guys on the practice squad, guys are going to get injured. It's going to happen. You essentially have, so like in hockey, and Rap, I know you live in the South, and you're a Vikings fan, but I don't know that you know the state of hockey like everyone
Yeah,
does.
no, we're not
But
huge
in
on
the-
hockey down here.
You have two-way contracts in the NHL. Guys that you can send down to the AHL as the feeder league, and they can move back and forth without ever having to pass waivers or another team just can't come in and sign them. The NFL has the practice squad for that same reason. You can elevate guys from the practice squad up and play, especially the young guys. You can bounce them kind of back and forth all season, bring them up as you need them, send them back when your guy gets healthy and comes off off the IL. So there is a lot to play here on the rosters that people are not thinking about. I think that a guy maybe like, I'm just throwing out names of the rookies, but like a Demings or a Jacoby Thomas or guys that we think could get in there, and on the depth chart, we're looking, well, we need a safety. We needed this or that. No, we need ball players, right? We got to put the best 24 ball players out on that field. And I think that's how Brian Flores looks at it. And that's why I think Ivan Pace, he likes the guy. Undrafted,
that's
worked his ass off,
exactly
that I think he's on there.
That's exactly what Brian Flores does, and he's already showed that he's done that in the past too, not just this year.
Here comes Dell, baby.
Where he will sacrifice linebacker to have an extra safety on the 53. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll do that. He's known to do that. So I mean, I think Ivan Pace definitely making the 53. You can use him. He's a gamer, bro. Regardless, does he have flaws? Yeah, they all got flaws. Shit, we can go down the list and talk about
bro's
every
got
player on that
motor.
defense. But he got a motor. He gets pressure, and a lot of defensive-minded coaches will tell you pressure on a quarterback is just as valuable as sacking him. You know what I mean? Like we look at it like, damn, you should have got the sack, while Brian Flores is like, great pressure. You're the reason this play didn't. You're the reason why that was an incomplete pass.
Pressures cause interceptions and problems down the field, which
Thank you.
Is what this defense is really predicated on. A man that needs no introduction, especially in the vocal Vike world. We're going to wait for him to get back in here. But our new on-field correspondent for the Scene Project Sports Network, our guy Dell. Hey, man, I appreciate you tapping in with me, dude. I've absolutely loved seeing you on with rap. Love your takes. Your graphic language, probably not ready for the TV show quite yet. But, I appreciate you jumping on with us tonight, brother.
Yeah.
I'll try to clean it up this evening for you. I appreciate you having me on and giving me
It's a
the
family show,
opportunity to,
Dell. Family.
Hey,
show
I
my
gotta watch
opinion.
it too, because
Thank you.
I may have dropped a cuss word earlier too, bro. Like sometimes you get frustrated, especially during this time of the year, man. It starts to get intense a little bit, but yeah, you definitely gotta watch it. We on TV tonight, Dale. We on TV with Bubba.
Oh,
man.
wow.
Bubba,
We're big time, Bubba.
We on
Thank
Roku.
you, man.
Shout out
Now,
Bubba.
you already a star,
Hello,
man. So yeah, give us
plays golf.
What's up, man?
Yeah. Pods, Dell Pods. Dell, none of us were at camp, right? So give us the 411 on today's training camp session and kind of fill us in, man.
I'm gonna face my
I
camera.
was not
to
at-
Dale.
I was not at training camp today. However, I went Saturday and Monday. What I saw is KOC before training camp is hanging out with wide receivers. He's not really involved or spending time with the quarterback group. And within the quarterback group, Kyler Murray has kind of been off doing his own thing. So that's just to preface just the atmosphere of camp and the individualism, I guess, and the offensive probably contributing to the offense's shortcomings. The defense, however, on the other side is very sticky. The defense is very sticky. Caleb Banks and Dominic Orange are legit. I saw Thomas making some good plays. Adams has come in and you've seen him flash immediately alongside Cashman or Wilson and Pace. Our middle linebackers are phenomenal. Our cornerbacks are some of the best in the league that I've seen so far, just as a room overall, not individually, but they're all phenomenal players, and we have different body types for different styles of receivers we'll face. With that being said, the wide receivers versus the cornerbacks, and specifically the defensive backfield of the Vikings, is completely one-sided. There aren't any players that are on the Vikings that are getting separation on our defensive backs, which is probably going to start to lead to some frustration, as we've seen today with Juan Jennings and Charles Demings getting involved in some physical fisticuffs at the end of practice. I can really identify with the frustration and the atmosphere of that as well. There was a young fan today apparently that started cussing at JJ McCarthy from the stands, and it's the performance of the offense is starting to go sideways. JJ McCarthy has almost solely worked with the twos while facing the number one defense, and Kyler Murray has almost specifically solely worked with the starting offensive unit and faced the second team defense, which, by the way, is a lot of rookies that we drafted just in this last year. And those rookies are dominating our veteran offensive players. So it's gonna, I guess the darkest part of night is right before dawn. You know, sometimes before things get clean, they get really messy. So I think that we're going to see more of this happening. However, with all of the positives to the defense at this point, I would also like to point out positives to the offense, which is running off tackle in the outside zone. Aaron Jones looks rejuvenated. Mason looks Mason. I have yet to see Claiborne run, but with the outside zone and taking advantage of our talented run blocking offensive tackles is enormous, an enormous gem for this team. We just have to stick with it. Oh, another thing I would like to point out is probably like the apple of my eye. And two players, really. Sorry, I'm going on a long dialogue here. Max Bredesen, who is the fullback, they move him all over the place. He's in the running back's room. However, they will play him in, for those that know, Jimmy Kleinsaucer role, where he'll line up at tight end and then get motioned to the backfield in a pistol set in a 2-point stance with the tailback behind the quarterback and lead blocking, especially getting the edges. It looks like we're really pressing the edges with our offensive line, which is huge. I don't think that it is a luxury to run the ball right now, specifically in camp, just to keep your confidence level for the offense. I think it's a necessity that you have to test this defense's weakness, which last year was their rushing defense. So instead of, I think, KOC kind of trying to make it more of a competition at the quarterback position, which solely revolves around the team, he needs to make it about the offense getting some traction and developing some momentum moving forward into camp and into preseason. Like, this is you don't want to start the year off slow like we did last year, because we saw what happened and we missed the playoffs by literally one game and one kickoff return away from winning the division, to be honest with you. So we were real close last year. I believe that this year we actually got better along the defensive line with the addition of Caleb Banks, Dominic Orange, Jettison, Hardgraves, and Allen. And I mean, that speaks enormous volumes for this draft class coming in. This is by far, for me, the best draft class that I've seen us have in 40 years of watching Minnesota Vikings football.
I thought it was really strong
y'all.
too, Dell. Yeah, I thought it was really strong coming in, looking at the players we were getting. You could see the Brian Flores kind of thumbprint all over it, and getting guys. And we were talking a little bit about that before we brought you in, Rap and I were, about having kind of getting the right profile of guys. It doesn't matter what the position says on the depth chart. The best 24 guys that fit in and can play in this kind of amoeba defense, right, are in there. So, Rap, there was a lot that he kind of got out there. What were your main takeaways from Dell's, camp recap from the last few days of practice?
No, it was good, man. We had great conversation. Obviously, he was on my show yesterday, and I think what was it, Saturday though? The Saturday night, I think
Yes,
we
sir.
rocked out too. So, a lot of it obviously surrounds the defense and how the defense looks really good, which is natural though, because a lot of times in camp, this is coming from a former player who gave it a really good breakdown. He was on Purple Insider with the Matthew Collar guy. I think his name's Ahmad. He works at Fox 9 now. But he was just talking about how usually, and this is like league wide, usually the first couple weeks of camp, the defense always seems a step ahead of the offense and he gave a great reason why, and it made sense. So like, and we see this every year. The defense just always looks like it's just on top of its game, bro. But B Flow, that's why you got fans that make an argument that he possibly should be more of the head coach than Kevin O'Connell, because his group of guys continue to perform not only at practice but in the season too. So Dale touched on it though, man. Everything he said, he was there, he was in the building watching it, he kept it real.
And let me preface that and interject for a minute and allow you to get back to expressing your perspective. Our defense that the number one offense is facing, to explain it again, they're rookies. They should be behind the veterans, not the other way around. For me and how I see it, and I agree that typically at this point of the year, the defense is ahead of the offense, but we have two rookies on the defensive line that are ruining practice, and there's constant pressure up the middle as well from the side. A safety who's coming and spying and running an option blitz on the regular. An outside linebacker in Gold Day that is just lurking and making life hell as throwing loop passes over him to get it to wide receivers. I'm telling you guys, there is nobody open at training camp, and it's got to be frustrating. Yesterday, I was so frustrated. I had an emotional hangover when I got home from camp and jumped on Rap's show. And today we saw that start to come out sideways with Demings and Jennings getting into it, as well as a young fan from the stand cussing out JJ McCarthy. It's starting to come out back sideways. And I don't like to be that negative. I want to point more to the defense, in a positive, but for the offense to show nothing like they have been.
Can't ignore it.
And they have shown nothing. It's heart-wrenching. So back to you, Rap. My bad. My bad.
Rap,
I don't want to take over
You can tell
the
he
show.
wasn't at camp today, huh? He's a lot more calm and measured than he was on your show last night.
I had to take a day off, brother.
Damn, Del, you go to camp and you come back and you feel like you're gonna have a stroke? Is it that bad?
Bro, it's literally that bad. So yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday at camp in the 2-minute drill, JJ McCarthy got a pass swatted, thrown to Juwan Jennings that was swatted by a linebacker. I'm not going to mention their name. Then he came back and did the same route and concept, just flipped the field with Justin Jefferson, who's getting locked up by a linebacker, might I add you. Then the next play, Hawkinson has a false start, so now we're looking at 3rd and 20. Then JJ drops back, throws a YOLO that gets a pick 6 by Brian Murphy, right? So that's JJ's performance in the 2-minute drill. Done. Then Kyler Murray gets up to bat against the ones, goes 3 and out. He's done. I'm telling you, the coverage is so sticky. And if you go back and look on Twitter, I would really recommend everybody going on Twitter and looking at the clips through the camp and just look for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like because the media is going to over accentuate good plays by Kyler Murray because he carries the narrative that JJ McCarthy was the problem last year. just look for yourself. In particular, look at the 7-on-7 drills going into the red zone and how sticky that coverage is. I can recall one play where it looked like almost a blown assignment, where one time one wide receiver was open. Other than that, everybody is shut down. And I mean everybody.
And Del, I know you
hats
played.
off to the defense, man. Hats
Del,
off to
I know
Brian
you played
Flores,
ball,
man.
and you had mentioned playing on the defensive side of the ball. And I know, Rap, you were alluding to a guy talking about this with the Purple Insider as well. But Del, can you kind of give us a little bit of insight as to why the defense is usually ahead of the offense in the early days of camp? I mean, I'm assuming it's because defense is a little bit more reactionary, right? So you're just kind of playing off what the offense is trying to do to you, where an offense is, trying to run different concepts and stuff. But I would appreciate your insight as a ball player yourself.
It comes down to timing, and the quarterback is the orchestra of that timing. He is the maestro of the offense. He will let the ball go when his back foot hits his final step in his drop. The ball should come out immediately, regardless of whatever read he's going to. So the offensive players, and especially like new players coming in and trying to learn that system, they're trying to get up to an NFL speed. In particular, which is probably 25% faster than a Division I speed. So that's huge. So that takes some time, especially in the timing in noticing from the quarterback to the wide receiver, the nuances of their routes and what their tells are as far as when they're going to break, when they're going to give you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of option routes in the NFL. It's a lot more timing on offense. On defense, you have a defensive call. You know what your responsibilities are, and then you hold those responsibilities while reacting to the player, whether in your zone or that you're sticking man-to-man. Very simple stuff. But when everybody comes together like that and everybody follows their assignment on defense, it's a lot easier to follow that protocol than it is on offense to think about timing and things like that. So that's why typically the defense is ahead of the offense at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But
If I'm right, if I missed
behind,
anything
though?
or anybody else has anything to add, please do. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
and
But
I
that's
want to
how
get
I
back
see it.
into I want to get back into covering
No, that's a
some of
fact.
the other things you said there, and I want to get Rap's feelings on a running game, an improved running game. I think you're starting to see the influence of Frank Smith already. I think every Vikings fan out there loves when Kleinsasser's name gets thrown in the mix at any point, and knowing that you have a guy like Max Bredesen, who's a big kid. He's not small. He's not going to be undersized out there if he does go up and line up in that tight end role. Hawkinson's he's not slight. He's a big ass dude, right? But he's not thick, right? He's pretty skinny guy. He's built like me. He's just, 3 inches taller and weighs 54 pounds, right? I stood next to the man when we were at the Unreal charity softball game back in May. So, but I feel like Max Bredesen probably is just a little bit different build and is going to be able to push some guys around. I think this team is going to be better regardless of who the quarterback is under center, because the run game is going to be, one, better and more efficient. But I think that KOC, hopefully, this is my hope. I can't speak from any experience because he's never shown this to us, but that he's going to commit to running the ball more from game to game. Rap, some of your thoughts on an improved running game by what Dell's seeing at camp.
I mean, look, I'm definitely excited about the running game. I think the tools are in place. Especially, I'm a huge fan of Damon Claiborne. I know he's a rookie, but I think he's going to force their hand to use him especially once we get a chance to see him at practice. I know today they put him in a little bit, but he's coming off of, I guess, some disclosed injury that was minor, but they had him sitting out. But I'm ready to see him because I think he fits Frank Smith's scheme coming from Miami. Like the way they ran the ball, you need that type of running back. You need a running back that can hit the edge, and if a defender misses a tackle, he can turn a 5-yard gain. For most running backs, he can turn it into a 20, 30, or even take it to the crib which that's what I'm looking forward to. Like Dale said, running off the tackles too. Like, I mean, look, man, Frank Smith's run scheme. I actually went back and was watching Miami Dolphins highlights. My stepfather, he's a Dolphins fan. He's a Vikings fan now because he loves our community. But at the end of the day, he's all Dolphins, born and raised Miami. And I was like, what, let me go watch and see Devon A-Chain's highlights and how they were running and what the scheme looked like. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man, it's something to be excited about. This is my only fear is I don't want them to try to force it with a Jordan Mason. Like my thing is, I just don't know if we have the backs available to make it what it should be or what we expect it to be when it comes to Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. I love Aaron Jones. There's a lot of things to like about him, but I just don't think he has the skill set to, first of all, take it to the crib. I mean, I've seen him get hawked down by linebackers over and over again. Shit, he even get hawked down by a defensive end. So, like, we need somebody who can really, like, make a team play, bro. They got to move. You got to, when you hit that hole, because you only got a second. You got to hit it, and then you got to get up out of there. Somebody like Damon Claiborne, he proves that he can do that at a college level. Now, we'll see in the NFL, but, I mean, he has the speed running a 4.3 now? I think Damon Claiborne had like a 4.3 something, so he got the speed.
4.37, yes.
Yes, he has the speed and he has the vision. Yeah, he's a burner, bro. So, again, to fit Frank Smith's running scheme and his style, you need a certain type of back. My only fear is I don't think Jordan Mason is that back, and I don't think Aaron Jones is that back anymore. Maybe he was in his younger prime, but right now,
I don't know that he ever was that guy specifically. Yeah. He was someone that could break tackles, could take contact, and then still be able to have enough speed to go forward. And he's just lost a step. I mean, he's 30, almost 30, right? Or he is 31 years old now.
Yeah.
He's just, and that's why that running back, I mean, most running back careers, even if you stick in the league 4 or 5 years, your kind of effectiveness is behind you. And I want to touch on a little bit, and I'm going to try to explain it, Dylan, and you can correct me if I'm wrong and maybe go into it. But outside zone really involves a lot of pitching it out wide and trying to get your athletic offensive linemen out in front and putting big hats on little hats on the outside rather than trying to run it up the middle through the big. You're essentially running away from the big guys on the defensive line and trying to pull your big guys and to get them out running, but in front of your running back, trying to take out that linebacker, safety, cornerback possibly. You're hoping that your wide receivers, and I think that's why Juwan Jennings is a great get, can take care of that cornerback to where you have to really block one guy. You got to hit that safety, and you can break. Damon Claiborne can now use that 4.37 speed to take it to the house from 60-plus yards out.
Mm-hmm.
So the outside zone. Let me back up here a little bit and talk about Frank Smith. My first practice that I went to on Saturday, Frank Smith was behind the huddle, which was basically at like the 35. So he was monitoring the offensive line in the trenches in particular. KOC was calling plays from the sidelines. There was some type of miscommunication where Frank got upset, took his hat off, and started hollering, and KOC had to come over and console him. And then they talked, and I don't know what it was about or what happened, but there's going to be an adjustment period, okay? Running the ball is attitude. And along those lines, now, like, I kind of got on KOC because of his lack of running the ball last year and thus lack of attitude last year. Let's give KOC a little bit of a break, which is I'm really trying to call it down the middle. So last year, okay, our offensive line's health was poor, right? So let's say you have 100%, which is this much, right? It's this much. So now you're playing players that are at 85%, right? When you're not 100% and you're at 85%, when you run block, you are delivering the punishment. Now let's say you're in a fight and you're not healthy. do you want to be more of a defensive fighter, or do you want to be an offensive fighter? Because when you're at go to 100 and then 85, which is better, to lose 15% by falling back and absorbing a hit on a pass block, or losing 30 to 40% in trying to deliver punishment? You understand what I'm saying? It shrinks the value of the player. You know what I'm saying? It shrinks it. So it's I'm giving an excuse to Kevin O'Connell for not running the ball as though he should have last year. With that being said, the outside zone, okay, so you have the C gap, the B gap, off tackle, guard center, and then backside, right? What it is on a sprint draw, when you run a draw, the reason why you want to hold on to the ball is you get natural seams created by the defense. So you're taking advantage of the defense's spreading out and thus creating the seams where two offensive players will box out the defensive players and create a hole. That happens naturally when you run outside zone runs. It's kind of like if you remember Barry Sanders back in the day, and they used to take the ball and be like this, literally slow down and run over and give him the ball way over here. That's because the offensive line, the defensive line, more importantly, spreads out, chases over, either compensates in trying to chase down a gap, and then the offensive player can cut him off from the backside, or thus a counter play, or pull a guard, and seal off that seam or that edge. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's more of a natural hole creation created by your opponent, the defense, if that makes sense, because you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Rather than just trying to set up, put a hat on a hat, and run dive all day into the heart of the defense.
Duo, where you combination block and then you slip to the second level to put your head down. This is more of a draw play. So when you run a draw, you want to give a delay for the defense to spread and then allow your running back to use his vision, more importantly, to hit the hole.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a counter. It's like when a defense gives you pressure or blitzes, you run a screen pass. You take advantage of it. It's a counter move.
He said wrap up late night. Hey, you ain't lying, boy. I'm out here tonight, boy. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I was about to text Bubba. Yeah, I got.
Good,
what time
man.
is it?
You brought us Dell, man. He's got all
Hey,
the
no.
insight.
Hey, I brought Dell. Let's go.
I'm only as
I
good
gotta
as the
ask,
people around
though,
me, brother.
one question,
I'm
Del.
only as good as the people around me, brother. Let's rock this joint.
Because I used to play offensive line when I played football. How hungry were those guys with the run blocking versus pass blocking today?
I don't know. I wasn't there today.
He wasn't
I
there
there
today.
when you were there.
Yesterday.
Yeah, well, the times that I have been there, their success on offense once again is running the ball and specifically running off tackle. Yeah. They're constantly, like, once they seal or create the guard, once the tackle seals the edge, giving the running back the sideline, it's a wrap with Bredesen following the way. Or when they pull a guard, or if the defense tries to over accentuate and prevent the outside, then you run in between the tackle guard. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Donovan Jackson. That's why we drafted Donovan Jackson. We have Darisaw on the same side. And that was the theory behind having Will Fries and Brian O'Neill. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got to pick your poison. You have 7 front players. You count 7 in the box, you run. Those 7 players, you have 5 offensive linemen and a fullback. You know what I'm saying? You're playing 6 on 7. Once you rotate the defense, you can run the other way. You understand? Especially when you have a running back who runs a 4.37.
No,
All
that's
right,
a
Rap.
fact.
I'm gonna let you get some kind of closing thoughts in and let you get out of here. I might hang on to Dell for a little bit longer.
No, hey, you need to listen. And seriously, Dale's been making his rounds, bro, and I'm super proud of Dog because, like, he was somebody who used to call into my show and would talk ball and talk how he's talking it tonight, and you can obviously tell he knows what he's talking about. He delivers it in a different way that I appreciate. Not everybody's cup of tea, just like me. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. You got some people they just, they just like it how they like it. I don't got no problem, but I'm gonna tell you, he's official. So, and my goal is to get him on a lot of these channels that are talking Vikings football because I think his voice needs to be heard, bro. So I'm glad you invited him tonight and want me to send him the link, man. I ain't never gonna hesitate to do that. So it was great having him on. Great tapping in with you, Bubba. Hey, golf. Shout out to you, man. Talking ball with you, man. My last thoughts before we head into following the week is I really do. I know the quarterback, I know the defense, the run game, all of that's super important. But to me, I think if we don't figure out the quarterback position, man, we ain't going nowhere anyway. So that's why I'm going to continue to focus on it, continue to hope that we figure this thing out because without it, man, there's just no hope anyways, man. We're just going to continue to say, yeah, man, the Brian Flores looked good with his defense. And yeah, the running game looked a little better, but the quarterback effed us over once again, man. I kept that PG-13 vote for you too, man. But nah, man, I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens these next 2 days. I think the pads come on again tomorrow. So we'll probably be able to see a little more of that run game that Dale was talking about. Hopefully Frank Smith is really getting his hands dirty and they're focusing on that tomorrow on top of seeing how the quarterbacks progress, man, seeing what this quarterback competition turns out to be. For sure.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of pull this all off the stage so we can see the background here. Skull Fest is September 12th. Give us a little bit of a preview of what people can expect at Skull Fest this year. Obviously, SPSN is going to be there doing a live show from the Crooked Pint. We're going to make sure that we grab Dell for a few minutes, and we're going to get RAP on for a few minutes, but we want to give you your time to get out there and mingle with your people. But I thought it was really important to be there to give the people who can't make it out to Minneapolis on September 12th and in preparation for the home opener on September 13th against the Green Bay Packers, to give them a little taste of what they're missing out on so they make sure they save up all year for Skull Fest in 2027. So give us a little quick preview, and then I'll let you get out of here, brother.
Yeah, man. So, just a backstory to where it started. Like, we started this whole Skull Fest thing 4 years ago. It actually started at like a backyard bar too, bro. Like it's funny. I was talking to my wife the other day and I was like, what's crazy is I threw Skull Fest. The first Skull Fest I threw with the likings of my brothers too we was in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? We was in Northeast Minneapolis. I'm talking about in the trenches, but it was one of the best nights. It was backyard, a bunch of fans that used to be in my chat. We all met each other. It was just great vibes, great vibes, a great atmosphere. And every year it's built up more and more and more and becoming more recognized. We have a lot of people. We were even on Vikings.com. They even mentioned it too. They mentioned Skullfest too. So it just shows you that even they're paying attention. It's the greatest fan party. So if you are in the city, there's no excuse for you not to be there. But if you got to travel, hey, save up. You still got a couple weeks, a month or so to save up. Tickets are free, general admission. We did just drop VIP tickets tonight. They are $100, but they come with a pack. You're going to get a box either mailed to you or you can pick your box up on arrival at Skullfest. It has exclusive Skullfest merch. It's going to have a bunch of discount codes for different brands. I mean, it's worth it, man. It's worth the $100 and you'll be in a VIP area with me and others. You know what I mean? We're going to have a ton of creators there. Some of the biggest names that y'all know, that y'all see on X, that y'all see on YouTube. They're all going to be tapped in with us. So it's a night to remember. And we're going against the Packers, man. Like, come on, man. It's Green Bay Packers week. We got to act bad out there that night, September 12th, man. We talking all the smack. I mean, it's just going to be one of those nights to remember. And you can even ask anybody who's been to a Skull Fest, whether it was last year or the year before, like they're all going to tell you, man, like it was one of the best nights of their lives as far as, Viking centric. When you're thinking about Vikings fandom, it's just one of those nights where you just won't forget it. Great music, giveaways, jersey sales, everything you could think of, man. So thank you, Bubba, for you and your crew being a part of this year. I think it's going to add a ton of value to the process. So this is just another thing to be excited about for the ones who were there last year. They get to show up this year and see how much it's elevated from then, just adding people like you to the group and bringing your expertise to a lot of areas that we kind of needed it too, to make this thing better. So I appreciate you for that, man. Linking up with you was definitely a great thing, man. So shout out to you. Thank you for having me on the show, and you'll be on Vocal Vike soon, man. Don't worry, man. We're gonna get it popping.
Yeah, we'll get it done. Well, we got some exciting stuff that we're working on too. I love that you can get your sound effects in on this. We're gonna have a lot more coming. We will be doing the SPSN Tailgate Show. Our goal is to take it with me and Rap, and we're gonna take this thing to network TV, and we're gonna do a preview show during the season. I don't know if we're gonna be ready for week 1 yet. There's a lot of things that need to fall into place there, but by the end of this season, I can tell you that you will be seeing mine and Rap's face on the TV screen and on WCCO in Minneapolis, talking Vikings football, previewing some of the games out there, and then catching up with you all on our YouTube channels after the fact. Skullfest website, skullfestmn.com.
Yep, skullfestmn.com. Go grab your tickets now. Sign up
And for the
next
VIP,
year too.
is it /VIP on that?
Yes, skullfestmn/VIP. Yep.
Nope, I love it, man. Well, Rap, you get some sleep, man. I know you got to work in the morning. I appreciate you staying up late with us tonight.
I know, man. Y'all got me up late, man, but keep Dell on for a minute, and I'm gonna stay tapped in, but I dropped it won't let me drop the thing in the chat. I think you got to drop it in there.
I did. I think I got it.
Okay, you did. Yeah, there you go.
/VIP. That's where you guys get your tickets. We'll have it out there. I've been sharing all the things on all the social media channels as well. We're going to keep promoting this thing. We got, 5 weeks, 6 weeks maybe, until Skullfest. So not long, man. It's going to be here before we know it. So, Rap, appreciate you tapping in, man.
Hey, love you fellas, man. I'll see you soon.
Holler.
Great stuff. The man.
What's up,
The
fellas?
man. Dell.
Nothing like starting off the season with a division rival either, eh?
Hold on. I need to back out. And come back in because this is on StreamYard, and my computer will mute people. So I'm not trying to be rude. Let me because I saw your lips moving, and let me back out and come back in.
He already knows. He's on it. We got to download that StreamYard app, Dell. You download the app and it'll keep that from happening. We've dealt with it several times on the streams lately. Huge shout out to Rap, obviously at Vocal Vike. Most of you guys already follow him and you're part of his community.
It's gonna be a fun ride.
This week he had Dell on, and then Sly, who, if you're not following you bummy to me online and watching his videos and recaps of the games that he does and breaking down plays, man, Sly, freaking awesome, man. I can't wait to get him on our show as well. I'm sure we're going to meet him up at Skullfest. Really looking forward to meeting a lot of you guys, 2E. I hope that you're there. All you guys, Barber, I can't wait to be with the community that we've really been a blessing to tap into. Some of you guys know or may not know that I came to the Vikings through my wife. My wife is a big Vikings fan. I grew up outside of Chicago. We moved to South Dakota when I was like 10 years old. So I've been watching from afar the team that I was just kind of born into rooting for get the shit kicked out of them season after season and just being nothing but disappointed. So finally in 2024, I was like, I fucking had enough, man. They laid down against the Niners, and I was like, I'm done. This Caleb Williams was supposed to be all that. This team's laying down. This coach sucks. And then they, of course, go out, get Ben Johnson last year, make it to the NFC Championship game. You're welcome, City of Chicago. It's all me. But I fell in love with this Vikings team because I was watching them, right? Like, to say that I was a Bears fan didn't mean that I wasn't a Vikings fan. I was watching the Vikings every single week with my wife for the last 6 years, right? Like, I came in kind of falling in love. And I like KOC as a head coach. I like him. As a play caller, little suspect for me, but I think that he has a way of motivating his players, and I think where he lacks is as a play caller. But I'm really excited to see Dell, and you kind of alluded to this a little bit, the Frank Smith influence on the play calling as well. Not just the scheme, but having a guy who's done that job before now to be able to be in, and because they all talk on the headsets, right? It's not just the head coach talking to the quarterback. Everybody's in there. Everybody's talking. And I think that Frank Smith has enough cachet in this league and in this team and structure because he's an assistant head coach. He's not just an offensive coordinator like a Wes Phillips is. He is an assistant head coach, which means that KOC looked at him and said, I need help. And I think that showed a little bit of humility out of a coach that really hasn't shown much of that throughout his tenure as the head coach of the Vikings, especially after getting the AP Coach of the Year bestowed upon him, which I think no doubt went to his head last year, and why you didn't see the change out of him through the first 8 weeks, right? You had to win one more game, and you alluded to it, Del, one more game, one bad kickoff against the Bears at home. What about Jordan Addison missing 3 games? What about you refusing to run the ball with God knows who playing quarterback for the first freaking 6-7 weeks of the season? Like, to me, everybody wants to put the blame on J.J. McCarthy for last season and not making the playoffs, but it starts with the head coach. And your head coach failed you for 8-9 weeks of the season before he finally pulled his head out of his ass, started calling the run game, started doing what this team is good at, control the clock, let that defense do its job, and you're going to win a lot of football games. It may not be the sexiest thing in the world, and it may make him vomit to run for 200-plus yards a game, but God damn it, you're going to win a lot of games doing it that way.
Yeah, I really think the run game is sexy. I really do. There's something grotesque about kicking somebody's butt. You know what I'm saying? I love the ugliness of beauty sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those oxymorons of life that we get to learn. Two things can be true at the same time. Yeah, Kevin O'Connell. I was ready to give up on him versus the Ravens when we averaged like 6.2 yards a carry and averaged more yards running the ball than pass attempt, and ended up losing that game by, I don't know, 3 points, 1 point, whatever.
I was at that game, Del.
I know that.
I was up there. That was Military Appreciation Day. I was up there with the foundation. I was at the Sir Death tailgate. I was vibing, and I'm watching the game. We also had 13 freaking false starts that day at home in a building that you could have hear a pin drop in. Like that hurt. That hurt, man, against what you thought was going to be a very strong Ravens team.
I mean, it goes back to offensive line health. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to offensive line health and the attitude that Frank Smith is going to bring. Like I said, running the ball is an attitude. We've been very finesse under Kevin O'Connell. The game of football was not started by finesse. It was started by fighting.
Grit.
The line of scrimmage is the focal point. If you can push it, you're winning. If you get pushed back, you're losing. That's where it all starts. So yeah. I mean, things were really close last year. I mean, we had the 3rd ranked defense and the 27th ranked offense. Talk about an imbalance. You know what I'm saying? What if we would have been running the ball all year long and working ball control, especially with it? Let me say this. Last year we brought in four free agents in the trenches out of 8 starting positions, right? 3 on defensive line, 5 on offense. Half of our team last year was free agents brought in. All of those free agents were coming off of season-ending injuries. All of them. Javon Hargraves, Allen, Kelly, Fries. Now we don't have that. Now on the defense, we're bringing in rookies to replace those guys. And let me say this: if Caleb Banks and Dominic Orange can replicate what Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave did last year of 120 tackles and 7.5 sacks, I see us perhaps having the #1 defense in the NFL. Better than anybody.
I mean, with the way that you were talking about them earlier, they may, I don't want to say that they'll double it because that's probably a little outlandish to say that, but they may have a plus 50% on top of that, right? They may be 100, and if they're 150% of what those guys could deliver, then this team is dangerous. They are someone that nobody wants to line up against. No offense wants to go up against that team. And I kind of said this even after the draft without seeing any of these guys, kind of just going off profile because I didn't watch a lot of tape on any of them at all. I was looking at the profile and knowing enough about B-Flow to go disruptors in the middle, a Galde who is the guy played safety. He played snaps at safety, at linebacker, and at D-end. A guy with that much versatility all over it, like that is a
plug-and-play kind of guy right there.
Bro. And he's a big freaking dude, and maybe, Dell, you can talk to that about how he looks on the field. Golde's massive, and he can move. You don't play safety, even at the college rank, unless you have speed.
Golde has the same draft profile as Andrew Van Ginkel. If Andrew Van Ginkel is 2 inches shorter than Golde. Ran the exact same 40 time. Golde had a 42-inch vertical at 6'5". That is a zone. What they're doing with Golde
that
is
dude's
they're
putting
playing
his
him
arm
at,
in a basketball hoop, and
right.
he weighs 280 pounds.
The intangibles are just very, like they're just you can't.
And did you study Golde a lot coming out and after that? I mean, obviously a guy that can play at all three levels like that, he's obviously a very smart player as well. And I think that like football intelligence is the separator for an Andrew Van Ginkel, the knowing what's going to happen before it happens. That's why the guy jumps those outside screen routes and taps them in the air and, you know, those crazy interceptions and the sacks that he comes with because he's undersized, right? Like Van Ginkel as an outside linebacker kind of rush the quarterback because he's not Grenard, right? Or even a Dallas Turner, I think, is a little bit underweight. It looks like he's put a little bit of weight on this year too. But Van Ginkel is a little bit small for someone like he wouldn't be a defensive end in a 4-3 scheme, right?
No, absolutely not. And that's why we're running a 3-4. Typically in a 3-4, you have oversized defensive ends in a huge nose tackle. Typically, we don't run that kind of defense though. We really run a 2-4-5, not a 4-3-4. You know what I'm saying? So, but Golde is exactly like Andrew Van Ginkel. And what I do is, when I watch college, I look at stats, I see who I like, I look at their game film, and then when the combine comes out, I hold myself to thresholds, look at those numbers, compress them, and compare them against the film, and then I judge on who the players are and who's going to be good. And I'm a person that doesn't believe that the draft is a crapshoot. I think they know exactly who is going to be good out there. Although there are circumstances where players will die or get sick or the money gets to their head and they get lazy. Typically, the talent will continue, especially like if you draft a young player such as Dallas Turner was at 20, just turning 21, and now coming into his third year where he's still younger than the second outside linebacker drafted in that year, being Jared Verse. So the upside for Dallas Turner and Golde
his best
is just like
might be
Grenard
4 years
and
from
Van
now.
Ginkel.
Yeah, his best football as a pass rushing outside linebacker are in front of him yet, and I think that all he has to do this year is take a step.
Scary potential.
Yeah, well, I think he was a little bit thin to come in, but he was 21, 22 years old, right? Like his body hadn't fully matured.
I mean,
yet.
that happens.
He
Sometimes those guys need a year to get that meat on them.
Hey, there's something to. Well, and he came from Alabama too, right? Dallas Turner.
Yeah.
Did. So I mean, he played in a big boy Division I SEC school, but there's a difference between even that in the NCAA and moving into
Them boys
the
big.
NFL.
Our boy is bigger.
NFL locker room, NFL, you got a little bit of money now. Your nutrition is better. Your recovery is better. Like all of these things matter. You're not a 22-year-old who has the run of the school either, right? Like the man was so athletically talented. He probably didn't have to go and be the best version of himself to be a dominant force at Alabama. Now it's different. And I think you saw that a little bit maybe in his rookie year where he thought he might be able to get away with, not being able to work out maybe as hard as the guy next to you and the guy across from you more than anything, right? Where I think he understands it now. I mean, Del, you follow this team a lot closer than I have and have been watching. Now seeing videos of Dallas this season, I mean, he looks like he's put on probably 10 pounds even from last year. He looks a little thicker, looks a little bigger, and doesn't feel like, I don't feel like he's going to get pushed around. And he got pushed around a lot less last year, but I feel like you're not going to be able to just move him off the ball. And now having another year of moves and experience under his belt, he's going to be a problem, man.
Well, absolutely. I mean, two things to velocity, right? Mass and to mass and velocity. That's how you move. That's how you move something, is through mass and velocity. So if your velocity is higher, if you're running faster and you're smaller, you're still going to have a bigger impact compared to somebody who is not as fast but bigger, depending upon how fast you are. Because Dallas Turner is just as fast as Justin Jefferson. He ran a 4.46. I mean, that's unheard of.
Yikes.
And talk about explosion.
Well,
this is another guy that had a 42-inch vertical. You know what I'm saying? Our team is starting to get loaded with players who have 42-inch verticals.
Athletic
kid you
freaks, man. That RAS score, right? We always like to talk about it during the draft of that RAS, and it matters to Brian Flores on his defense. Like, he just set this defense up for the rest of his contract that he's going, I got fucking dogs. I don't need another pick. I don't even need a pick in next year's draft.
Our middle linebackers are so legit. Our middle line, especially with this defensive line that we have now in front of them, being young and hungry in Redmond, Orange, and Banks, our middle linebackers are running free. Eric Wilson, I think, ran a 4.3. Cashman ran like a low 4.5. Golday ran like a 4.6. Golday has the same speed as Eric Kendricks, except he's 6 or 7 inches taller and weighs 30 more pounds and can jump higher. You understand what
that sounds like something created in a lab.
It's wild, man. It's wild. And his film, Golday's college film, is he has the nose for the ball. And the thing that I really like about Golday, because you asked about Golday, is that he was a 0-star recruit, a walk-on. You know what I'm saying? He went to I believe he went to JUCO for 2 years and then went to Cincinnati for 2. And stayed and just stays the course. And another player who did that is Charles Demings, who is phenomenal. You guys are going to fall in love with this guy. That's what I'm saying. I've personally had the take of our cornerback room being the best in the NFL. It's because of players like Dallas, like Demings, like Rogers, like Murphy, like Pierre, like take your pick, Vaughn or McLaughlin. I think we take all 6, take a safety out, insert a corner. Thomas coming down into the box. Another player who is a bigger player, 6'2", 210, looking like that's how big Joey Browner was. I'm talking to old school fans, however. Joey Browner was one of the best safeties the Minnesota Vikings have ever had. Right, this player is coming into the box, and it fits what Brian Flores does so well. All players are multiple. He wants players to do something of anything. Like, you can either cover or you can blitz. You pick your poison. We're gonna load this side and then send one player on the outside over here and drop everybody over there. I have so many tricks coming out of my bag. It's making your head spin like a clothes dryer, man.
Well, and it makes it really hard to key in on a weakness on the defense and as an offense try to exploit that. You can't do it because they could just swap that guy right back out too and run something completely different at you. So, yeah, see, we got our fans. Angelo knows what's up. Angelo knows what's up.
I
Dave
gotta
came
ask
out.
you this then.
Go
Del.
ahead, Pods.
How passionately you guys talk about this defense. You see the just athletic freaks that are on it and all the potential it has and how competently it's run. How much of percentage-wise would you say the offense needs to put in to catch up to make it at least like win 3 or 4 more games this season? Like, what does their competency level need to be at to really maximize their opportunities that this defense is going to give them?
So how many yards rushing did we have last year? 1,800, maybe 1,700. We probably need to get to 2,300, which would be 30 to 23. If we hit 2,500 yards rushing this year, we
won
go
14
13
games.
and 4.
Yeah, we won 14 games. I can already tell you. Just from that single stat, because the defense is going to be so locked down and turn that ball over. That means you had the ball for
ball control
of the game. Man, if you can keep the ball, the other team can't score. It's a freaking crazy concept, right? But KOC just can't.
That's where the attitude
comes
in.
3 and out and take 10 seconds off the clock. And what a detriment
when
that is.
When a team has a high time of possession, they tend to win a lot of games.
Yes, sir. Time of possession and turnovers, the 2 most important stats in the NFL that are not talked about.
No, they're just not sexy to most people. Dave Thibodeau in here had a question, which I think is a good one. Who is going to get the most sacks this year? And I want to put a how much of a competition is it going to be internally for that title?
Oh, it's going to be Dallas Turner, and I think it's going to be a runaway.
You think so?
I think it's going to be a runaway. And I can't even get passionate about it because
is it because of the position?
It's inevitable.
Is it because of the position and the player that he is and the amount of chaos that is going to be around it? Because one of the knocks on Banks, great at pressure, but didn't finish, right? Didn't have that finish where Dallas Turner kind of has that in spades if he can get free. If you can have defensive linemen that need to be double teamed standing next to him, it makes him a free runner one-on-one against the tackle single play.
Right. The line has to pinch in because the guard has to come down.
Well, then you start talking about
Banks,
looping him
right?
in. If you try to go out, you bring him around and up the middle.
Right. Because that's when you saw Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner had 3 sacks last year taken away via penalty for landing on the quarterback.
Bullshit. I was
or
mad about
another
all
defensive.
3 of those.
That would have, as a backup, he would have had 11 and a half sacks last year as a backup. Just think about that.
Miles Garrett just broke the record last year, right?
About our media. Excuse me?
Miles Garrett just broke the record last year, right?
Yeah.
With the Browns was 17 and a half or 18 and a half now. I forget what the record is. Could we be talking about
I think
Dallas
it's 23.
Turner? Oh,
I think it's 23.
Okay, so 23 now. Yeah, that's a crazy amount. Could we be talking about a Dallas Turner, maybe not in this season here, but in the next 4 years of his, probably 3 years of team control, I would assume. He's going to get a 5th-year option as a first-round rookie. Are we talking about him being a 20-sack guy? Maybe not even, approaching the record, but being a 20-sack guy.
Yes.
I think
he has that explosion.
Consistent 13 to 14 sack guy.
Yeah, and I think he does more. He had 11 last year, playing half the snaps, and until he stepped in.
He had 8.5 last year.
Should have had 11.
He had the team. He was tied for on the team 3-way tie for sacks last year, as a backup. As a backup, mind you. Backing up,
and had 3.
Jonathan Grenard, 1 year removed from being an all-pro player. An all-pro player, you're the best player in the NFL. Backing up an all-pro. Bro, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Well, and I
on
thought that
defense, man.
when I saw they addressed the and I, you know, everybody, it was so funny and probably like my favorite moment of the draft because the other way it went was when they announced the Caleb Banks pick in the stadium and everybody's just like, who? Because nobody was talking about him because of his injury. That nobody was talking about him. But before that injury at the combine, they were talking about this guy being a potential top 10 pick because of the athletic profile. Right?
Yes.
And you got to
at
steal
the
him
Senior
at
Bowl.
18? You got to steal him at 18? That's crazy.
At the Senior Bowl, it was in between him and Lee Hunter, who were the best defensive tackles coming out last year. In between him and Lee Hunter. And then Orange was close behind Lee Hunter. But Caleb Banks was by far he was going to be top 10. Absolutely. We got to steal. I go back to thinking about drafting Garrett Bradbury over Jeffrey Simmons. And we didn't make that mistake.
Simmons turned out to be a pretty good player, didn't he?
I think so. But we're all right. We're all right. We'll get past it in the same draft. Irv Smith Jr. over DK Metcalf.
Oh.
Now, see, since we're kind of dipping into this and former GM woes, what do you think of Nolan Teasley and what he brings to the table? Because he didn't make these draft picks. I think by all intents and purposes, you know, I know Rob B was the interim GM, but he wasn't the guy making the picks. This was the two head coaches coming together and saying, hey, who do you want? And I love that KOC kind of got out of the way and said, Flo, what do you need? Because that's what it looked like from the outside. I can't verify that. I don't have any inside knowledge, but gosh, that's sure what it seems like when you look at the picks that were made.
Bro, look at our draft capital spent on the defensive side the last 10 years. It's been, our cupboards have been bare. We've drafted 3 corners, number 1 overall. In the first 3 rounds under Zimmer to now, before this draft, we drafted 4 first-round draft picks and 5 first round and 1 second and 2 thirds. Then this year we just went defense. We picked 4 out of 5 picks in the first 3 rounds on the defensive side, with 3 out of 4 in the first 3 rounds. Like we finally went in on defense. It's been nothing but offense.
And got really strong value at all of those picks as well. People are going to debate the bank space. Look, if this guy goes out and becomes half of the player that some of us think, if he lives up to half of his potential, you got to steal at 18. It doesn't matter. Guys with that athletic profile,
get excited.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why you
Caleb
talked about
Banks,
it.
man.
You talked about it on the show with Rap, and that was the first thing that I was like, oh, that's music to my ears. I think Dominique Orange, just the size that big citrus brings, he's going to be a problem just in that. Andy's a hell of a football player. Galday, Jacoby Thomas, I think fits the profile of a B-flow defense, a guy that you have to have a safety in this league. You have to have a safety that can, 1, come in and stop the run in the box, but 2, can cover athletic tight ends. Right. And we can touch on this before we let you go too, but Hitman, you know, everybody kind of saying the Jamal Adams signing pretty much said that we're not bringing back Hitman. I don't believe that to be true because Jamal Adams hasn't played safety in like 2.5 years and been in that position. But exactly what you said, like there's 5 of these guys, these rookies that could be starters, if not week 1 by the end of the season. And they're already contributing. Like they're going to contribute as second team guys. They're going to contribute. They are going to be your starters for the next foreseeable future as the defense continues to age out a little bit in some other positions.
Bubba, let me ask you something, because I see this a lot in our defense, especially under Brian Flores. First of all, let me preface this. This is the closest thing to the 89 defense that I've seen us have. And in the 88, 89 defense, we had 58.5 sacks come off the defensive line. In that year, 10 of our 11 defensive starters made the Pro Bowl. This is the closest thing to that. The Minnesota Vikings are actually not known for offense, which we've gotten a lot of fans from 98 on as fans in our kingdom on our boat. But the history of the Vikings is we are a defensive organization. Defense wins championships. Actually, defense and running the ball, that's the recipe to a championship. Our bro, we're gonna be good, bro. I haven't seen a pocket compress like what I saw in training camp since the Williams Wall. With and I'm not saying that Caleb Banks and Dominic Orange are going to be Pat Williams and Kevin Williams. I'm saying that like
the impact will be the same.
There's going to be a lot of disruption on that side of the ball.
Because there's for an opposing quarterback to sit in the pocket, he and you can't climb the pocket, but then you have a player like Dallas Turner coming off the edge.
And a Jacoby Thomas blitzing off the edge, or a Jamal Adams coming from the side, or an Andrew Van Ginkel coming from that other side, and you never know which one's coming. They're all standing on the line on every play.
And that actually brings me back to what I was going to ask you and have you two think about. With Brian Flores' defense being so multiple, and last year and the year before being so scheme orientated, I've seen us run a 1-4-6. And let me this is something to ponder. So just because you have a player playing a position, does it make him that position? Such as a Jamal Adams, a safety playing linebacker. So are we really running should we like stop thinking about things within the constructs of Madden and calling a 4-3 or a 3-4 and start to look at it, oh wow, we're actually running a 3-3-5. You know what I'm saying? Like because it's so multiple. Because I've seen under Flores where, I'll bring it up again, our base defense is basically a 2-4-5. You know, we run three, we start three safeties, linemen, 2 corners, right, four linebackers, and 2 defensive linemen. And sometimes when we run dime, we'll only have 1 defensive lineman on the field. Run 4 linebackers. Now
that 1 defensive lineman is Caleb Banks, who can still get a sack,
right,
as that one.
And the quarterback is still getting annoyed. Because
that
2 guys can't stop him.
Do you see, and I know that it's really early in this, but do you see shades of 2024, which was arguably the best defense in this era of the Vikings that we've seen of this B-Flow defense yet? Are you seeing shades of getting back to that in this upcoming season, and a better version of that? Because that defense was scary. I was watching from the Bears perspective that like I was watching as an opposing fan these teams play and going, I don't want to play that defense. You just don't know. You don't know what you're going to get. You have 8 guys on the line of scrimmage almost every single play, and you have no
everybody
idea
drops
coming. And everybody drops, and you still get a sack. Like, make that make sense.
Because they overload.
And you have multiple players on that team that could have multiple sacks.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we're talking about here. Yes, but in 2024, we did lead the league in turnovers, and it wasn't by a small margin. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't by a small margin.
21 sacks.
Our cornerback.
Jesus.
What? It was 30 something, 37?
Yeah. Dolman had 21.5. Millard, who won defensive MVP, had 18.5. Henry Thomas had 12.5, and Al Noga had like 10.5. Just on the defensive line.
Lord.
We will never see that again.
Around. We could be having Turner 20, Caleb
Dolman
Banks getting 12. Big Citrus getting double digits. You could have 5 players with double-digit sacks on that front 8, and a safety probably with double-digit sacks.
And this is what happens when you draft a talent such as a Randy Moss. It doesn't matter. He moves the needle so much that he affects everybody else on the field. People talk of Justin Jefferson as having gravity the opposing defensive secondary, because you always have to double him, if not triple him, which frees up everybody else and everything is easier. That was what was so frustrating last year in watching the Vikings, is that we were constantly throwing into pass coverage because we couldn't run the ball because our offensive line was healthy, because once again it comes back to delivering punishment and being less effective at your craft because you're hurt.
Nobody respected this team's run
You know
game
what I'm
last
saying?
year. Not a single team last year was worried about us ever running the ball. And when it's kind of what opened it up for those last 5 games of the year, because they're like, well, he's not going to run it. And then, that's why your running game is working even with a banged up offensive
And
line.
the passing
they're
game
just
wasn't
dropping.
doing that particularly well either.
Well, no, that's what you're going to get with a
But
a guy making his first 10 starts in the league.
Even with that said, so last year we went on a 5-game winning streak, right? Within those 5 games, JJ McCarthy was 53 out of 83, and I think that's like 67%, had 5 touchdowns throwing to 2 interceptions and ran for 2 touchdowns. Those are decent numbers. So like our offense, without the name on the back of the jersey, and I'm just bringing up McCarthy as an example, and those stats as an example, with a player that can achieve those numbers, which are not huge numbers to achieve, but they are good. Like, we went undefeated.
But you don't need an MVP. You don't need an MVP quarterback when you have a
just
defense.
need consistent competency.
JJ can reach that.
A la Trent Dilfer, a la Brad Johnson.
Thank you.
And
That's a
Trent
pretty good
Dilfer
comp, I
of
would say.
the 2000 Ravens, and
Rich Gannon win one?
Give me Alex Smith.
Right.
Give me Alex Smith.
Right.
And I think that's what I've always been on, is that I saw enough out of this team last year that, like, you were right on the doorstep, even with piss poor play for the first entire half of the season, and you were still there because of that defense. You can get there. And why I've kind of said, I don't know if you were listening to the stream, and kind of, it's funny because I don't remember hearing Rap say it before this. So I'm going to take a little bit for putting this bug in his ear, is that, like, best case scenario, Kyler starts the season as the starter. I don't want to wish for him to get hurt or anything, but you're seeing something behind the scenes out of JJ McCarthy to feel comfortable, and this defense is just out there murdering teams, that you're saying, hey, we have an opportunity to go flip Kyler Murray, who we're paying nothing for, a first and a second, because a team needs a quarterback of that caliber. And Kyler Murray is 23rd on the list. So you're not trading a top 10 quarterback, but you could get some serious value in a, what people are calling a historically deep draft in next year. And you're able to add serious talent on that side. Best case scenario to me, you still have 2 years of control on a JJ McCarthy anyway. Can you get the kid to be competent and consistent this year? Flip Murray for a couple of draft picks, make your team better for the future, which could even mean drafting another quarterback next year, which has a deeper quarterback class possibly, right? And setting yourself up for that. Because I don't think, and maybe Del, you can speak to this because we didn't really get your thoughts on it, but I don't think Murray's here next year regardless of how he plays this year. I think this team could win a Super Bowl, and I think that almost guarantees that he's not back, because he's going to go, I need $65 million a year, and the Vikings are not going to pay him that. You know what I mean? If Kyler Murray goes out there and balls out and wins a Super Bowl, or goes to a Super Bowl even with this Vikings team, he ain't coming back the next year and taking $35 million to make the team better. He's going for the bag. I mean, that's just my mentality. I just don't see that Kyler Murray loves ball like you love ball. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, the Kyler Murray did have a stipulation in his contract about playing video games over studying the playbook, and set a threshold of like 4 hours a week on doing film work. So, I mean, but that's not to say I just want the best quarterback out there. I'm really a JJ truther, because I'm always pulling for the underdog. This is just who I am as a person. And especially like when I hear reports about McCarthy completely blowing out JJ McCarthy on the first day of public attended training camp and going there and seeing it and be like, what blowout? Because they both played poorly, So I just I don't want somebody to 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 push somebody down in order to raise themselves up. You understand
Dell,
what I'm saying?
do you think JJ is on this team next year? Like, he's still under contract, so by all intents and purposes, he should be here, and that's what I've alluded to quite a bit on our show, and even when I go on Rap Show. Do you think that JJ McCarthy is here, regardless of whether Kyler Murray is or not?
I think JJ is on the team longer than Kevin O'Connell.
Damn. Now that's a hot take. I like that.
Let me ask you a question, Del.
Yes, sir.
What route would you have the Vikings go with the quarterback? Say neither of these guys work out. You can have JJ as a backup. What avenue would you go and get your quarterback? Are you going to the draft, or are you going after a guy like a Mac Jones?
I really think in what I've seen out of history and watching football is there is seldom a team that succeeds at chasing the quarterback position. It's like taking a pill for happiness. No amount of anything is going to bring you happiness except for knowing yourself and having a better relationship with that person you want to be. You understand what I'm saying? And recognizing who you are is paramount in that relationship. Being honest with yourself that it isn't about one person. No, because truth be told, no man is an island. There are 22 starters on this football team. So I don't know how to answer that question. I think we should do grassroots level, go to the draft, develop both these guys, develop yourselves as people, including the coaches, including the owners, including the fans. Educate yourselves, learn to watch football with your eyes, not your ears, So, man, I just really appreciate.
Del, on that note, do you feel like we have seen a little bit of growth from our head coach from the end of last season to the beginning of training camp now? Do you feel like you've seen finally, for the first time, a little bit of humility, a little bit of mea culpa, although maybe not publicly facing and being at the podium and saying it? Some of the actions that we've seen and coaching staff decisions kind of point to that. Do you feel the same way?
I think that would be up to Kevin O'Connell to answer, as far as what his growth level is and what he's learned from last year to this year. And I haven't heard any reporters ask him that question, which would be an actually good question
that's like
to
the
ask.
First question I'm asking, right? Maybe that's just who we are as people, Del.
Right. What do they say? There's 3 frogs sitting on a log. One decides to jump in. How many frogs do you have left? It all depends upon if your decisions actually mean something. Because after all, they're just decisions, right? Are you going to actually act on it? And looking at KOC's history, I think I've heard the same thing the previous 2 years of him running the ball and deciding to be more of a physical team, which has not happened. But people can change
at this point.
I don't want to throw anybody under a bus, and I try to call it as even down the line as I possibly can. Although sometimes I do get a little emotional and frustrated. I'm only a person, right? Which with that and me, I have to allow other people, like I have the right to make a mistake. I have to allow other people the right to make a mistake as well. That's called freedom. And that's the idea of the Vikings. We want the Vikings to be free, to be themselves, to be something no one has ever been, right? Just like you. I want you to be you.
Del, that's a perfect.
I'll see y'all later. I love you. Huh?
Yeah, that's a perfect spot to light it off. We do this every Tuesday at 8 o'clock, man. We would love to have you on every single week with us. If you're available, you are welcome onto this show. That link that Rap sent you is the same link every single week. I know Rap does his lives on Tuesdays as well, and we try to get him when we can. But I think your takes are awesome. I think you're a great personality to have on our sports network. Would love to hear you talk about maybe some other sports too. If you're this passionate about the Vikings and football, I'm sure there's other things that get you fired up too, man. Can't wait to meet you at Skullfest. Really looking forward to having you back on the show whenever you're available, sharing some more camp stuff with us tonight. Barbara, appreciate you tapping in. Angelo, you guys, thanks for hanging out late with us and being part of this. I'm really appreciative to Rap. The Vocal Vike does so much and has done so much for our channel, especially growing this show in particular. But we do it all, man. Pods has a show on here called The Scratch Project. We cover golf and PGA stuff and getting better, making regular people better at the game. We have
Let's go.
Baseball show. We got a hockey show we're going to be coming out with. Basketball we'll be covering this year when the seasons get kicked off. We have motorsports. We do it all, man. I really came into this show and this network as being something, ESPN for the common man. I'm not going to tell you how to feel. We're going to come on here. I'm going to tell you how I feel, and I'm going to give you an opportunity, just like the Vocal Vike show does, to allow fans to have a voice here. And we're always sending out the link for people to join us. And I'm so appreciative of your time today to jump on and share some of your insights, man, and the way that you see the game and bringing that to the table. I think it's so important in this day and age. We have the ability to do it. Brother, you are always welcome, Del. Thank you so much, man.
Yo, peace, y'all. One love.
Be well, brother. I'm going to connect with you. Man, the Del Vincent, that man dropping not just the insights from camp, but so much more. Really appreciate him. Pods, what a show, man. That was incredible.
I'd say so.
Thanks
That was
for tuning
one hell
in,
of a
everybody.
show.
Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Skull time here on the Scene Project Sports Network. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. You're going to get a short word from our sponsors on the way out, Odyssey Exteriors. If you guys need a roof in Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, Iowa, these are our guys. Make sure you hit up our guy, Cole Quinnell, and get a hold of Odyssey Exteriors. We'll see you all next Tuesday.